What up, it's your boy LIBY, and welcome to my new and personal YouTube channel, LIBY Mo. It's LIBY on Mollytown. I know most of you guys know me on Mollytown as LIBY on Mollytown platform. I'm home as usual. I think I like this spot. I like recording here, you know, because it looks great. The lighting is good. Okay, so today we'll be talking about how one of the trendsetters in Cameroon, like one of the OGs in Cameroon, like one of the biggest names we have in Cameroon, the biggest exports in terms of culture and music and entertainment, one of the biggest in Cameroon, can be disrespected by a small fry in another country. All that Jovi's fault. It is his fault because he gave him the room, he gave him the chance, he started replying to him, he started talking to him, he made him realize that Jovi can do anything to get to his target. Then that kid came in. I don't want to say his name because saying his name is almost doing the same thing like what these bloggers in Cameroon are doing. Like, they talk about his name, they publish his name, they talk about his replies, they talk about every shit he said about Cameroon, about us, about every fucker. Like, it's so disrespectful, okay? So when you say his name, you give his name more notoriety in Cameroon, you make a lot of guys in Cameroon ask, who the fuck is this guy? Where does he come from? How does he sound like? Like, you give him publicity. They say publicity is publicity, whether good or bad. Publicity is publicity. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning, or where I saw some things and I saw some posts that some Cameroon artists made, and it made sense in regards to this whole situation, this whole matter. This is not something that like a hot topic that you just have to talk about when it's happening. It's something that has to go the span of the industry, like how the industry is viewed, how they see the industry from outside, how foreigners influence or inject their influence into the industry, how we let outsiders perceive our industry, how we want them to treat us. Okay, it starts from home. There's an old saying, charity begins at home, and I believe we don't have that charity at home. We don't have the respect back home. Okay, so let's break down this whole thing to where we are at right now, how it got to this spot right now. Jovi don't have the respect he need back home. He has it from his Mboko gang, but he doesn't have it across the board, which he is supposed to have. Okay, I'm not saying he doesn't need to have artists that will talk some shit about him or clown with him or joke with him. Okay, because even the legends in Nigeria, they have those guys like Two-Face, even his colleagues, his peers, even MI did something like a standout when they were giving Two-Face like his 40th birthday. MI said something about his kids, numerous kids he has, like a joke. You can joke with Jovi, okay? You're supposed to joke with Jovi, okay? And Jovi is supposed to take a joke, okay? I know as a rapper, you need to claim that you're the best rapper alive. You need to do all that. It comes with a male ego. It comes with the pride of the genre, of the music, okay, the genre. But you need to limit who you talk to, who you reply, who you interact with. That's what brought us to this stage, okay? So Jovi started disrespecting everybody in the industry who has a voice. Because he came before them, they can't say anything. They don't have a voice. Their opinion don't count. That was where this whole problem started, okay? Because when Jovi did all that, when he started disrespecting Stanley, you know, and Pete Bakadzi and Magasco, then he went to TZ Panchak, then he jumped to, I think he has gone at Kosi. He has gone at everybody who has a voice right now, who is his peer right now. Whether we like it or not, they are all his peer right now. They are all top tiers artists. They can feel the same venue he can feel right now. What Jovi has in the industry right now is time. It's longevity. All these guys are still fresh, they are still new, but it doesn't mean they don't have a voice. It don't mean they don't have fans. It don't mean they don't have guys who support them. So when you alienate all those guys, when you make them look like villains, when a bigger threat comes in, take for example like the Avengers, okay? Tony Stark had a problem with Captain America, okay? Those were the leaders of the two groups. Like, Tony Stark had a problem and they split the whole Avenger team into two. So there were some guys that went with Tony Stark and there were some guys that went with Cap, okay? When Thanos, a bigger threat, came, it brought those guys together. But the way Cameroon music industry is right now, If Thanos had to come to Cameroon, he'll wipe everybody out because everybody's separated. We are segregated. We believe in, I want to be the king. I want to be the guy who save everybody. I want to be the head, the chef who save everybody. All these movies, they teach us something we look over, we look past. Like they teach us that a branch or a tree can't make a forest. It doesn't matter how big that tree is, it can't make a forest. So that's what the Cameroon music industry has turned to right now. That's what it is right now. So get into this point of this kid, okay? It doesn't matter how big you are in Cameroon, okay? It doesn't matter how big you are in Cameroon. You are an A-list artist in Cameroon. In Africa, you are a B-list artist. I know this thing will spark a lot of conversation. It will make some guys to hate or some guys to insult what I've just said, but this is a fact. It doesn't matter how big you are in Cameroon, you are a B-list artist in Africa. You may be A-list each, but you are not A-list. For example, if Salatiel or Mr. Leo insults Fally Ipupa today, his songs will stop playing on Trace, on MTV Africa. He will stop having shows in Congo Brazzaville because that's where most of these French artists in Cameroon, that's where they export mostly to. That's where they have the biggest shows out of Cameroon. You have Guinea, you have Congo Brazzaville, you have Cote d'Ivoire. I think the only artist like Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast is Tenor. You have Cote d'Ivoire, you have. So, if you insult Fally Ipupa today, any show you have in those countries, which I believe that's your biggest box, the biggest bag you can carry in a year or in some span of time, you will not have a show in Congo, in Guinea, in even Chad. Trust me, if you have a problem with Fally Ipupa, I'm not sure you have a show in all those places. I'm not sure your songs will be played in all those countries. But in Cameroon, because we are still considered as B-list, okay, that thing can slide. And if we can't enforce those kind of rules in our country, like Cameroon, if we can't enforce those kind of rules there, who do you expect to enforce those kind of rules? I see bloggers running with it when that kid talk about it. I see YouTubers talking about it. I see TV stations making that the headlines of their news. Like, when the kid's name is on that headline, you're giving him promo. You're making everybody curious. Who the fuck is this guy talking to the top dog in the industry? And you're giving him the same status Jovi has in Cameroon. And it's Jovi's fault for replying to him, for giving him the voice, for giving him the time. It's Jovi's fault. And just because Jovi gave him the time, okay? The three ways this thing, the three problems in this whole scenario, the three problems in this case is Jovi disrespected everybody in Cameroon who could have his back when this whole thing happened. That's one. The second part is Jovi gave the kid a reply that's made the kid like his peer, make the kid his opponent, okay? Gave the kid the voice to talk to him the way you want to talk to him, okay? If you ignore this kid, the same way Sarkodie thought Jovi is not his peer, Jovi is not his level, that's why Jovi hasn't got a reply from Sarkodie till now. M.I. No, Jovi is not his peer, Jovi is not his level, that's why Jovi hasn't had a reply from M.I. till now, okay? We believe, Cameroonians believe, we believe Jovi is M.I. tier, Two-Face tier, Sarkodie tier, Fally Ipupa tier, Burna Boy tier. That's what we Cameroonians believe, especially the Mboko gang. That's what they believe. Okay? But outsiders, they don't see us like that. Because the way we treat outsiders, make us believe we don't have guys who have the same catalog or have the same quality or have the same skill or talents as those guys that come from outside. So Jovi gave him the voice and alienated everybody who could support him, okay? That's the two fact. And we propagate, we give that kid the same cloud or the same shine, the same power we give Jovi. That's why you see him now, he feels like a king. He's grown. Ever since he dropped the first collab, like the first diss to Jovi, his clout, his fan base has grown. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe me or not, it has. It is growing right before your eyes. So how can this thing stop? You don't use his name. You don't talk about him. You make us respect Jovi. I know Jovi acts sometimes like a kid, and when he acts like a kid, I say he acts like a kid in a grown-ass man's body. I think Jovi is 38, 36 to 38, within that range. Jovi is around that age range. So he's a grown-ass man. But sometimes when he goes to Twitter and start acting like a kid, it turns to diminish the respect some of his peers have for him. It doesn't tarnish his legacy. Yeah, it can tarnish his legacy, but it doesn't tarnish his catalog. Your catalog is going nowhere. It's just music. It's out there in the world. You've put it out, okay? But it has to do with your legacy. It has to do with the way the world and everybody perceive you. Everybody see you. This whole podcast, I'm just talking about how we can stop this shit. Stop using that kid's name. I know you guys believe when you use the kid's name alongside Jovi's name, that clout from Jovi's name will bleed into the thumbnail and give you clout. But you're feeding the kid's name indirectly if you don't know. You're feeding that kid's name. Okay? You are feeding that kid's name. Of recent, the news that have been going on online is just news that don't make sense. Molly and I don't talk about somebody's personal life, but I talk about business moves like endorsements. I talk about it. I talk about signings. I talk about things that make the industry look good, that makes you look at like this is a whole industry. This is an industry. We have to treat it like an industry. That's how Molitown act. That's how I act. And on the next episode of my podcast, I'll explain why Molitown music existed and why I stopped it. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. If you're watching me for the first time, click that subscribe button down the square part of the Molitown family. I don't know if this thing is still recording. If it's still recording, okay, fine and good. If it is not, okay, but I would like you to share. If this information, this whole news for you makes sense, I would like you to share it, okay? Share it with your peers and tell me what you think in the comment box below. Tell me who is at fault. Tell me why we receive this kind of disrespect in Cameroon, okay? So it's your boy LIBY'S, and I guess that's all I have to say for today. I'm out.